actually affect sleep? So caffeine works by blocking adenosine receptors in the brain. Adenosine is a chemical that promotes sleep, and it accumulates in your body and makes you feel tired. So by blocking these receptors, caffeine temporarily prevents the feeling of drowsiness. So while this can be helpful in the short term, it can interfere with sleep, and if consumed too close to bedtime, caffeine can reduce the amount of deep sleep you get and can also lengthen the time it takes to fall asleep, which is known as sleep latency. So caffeine's half-life. So the half-life of a substance is the time it takes for its concentration in the bloodstream to decrease by half, okay? So for caffeine, the half-life ranges anywhere between 3 to 7, but let's just call it 5 hours. This means that if you consume caffeine at just say 10 a.m., half of it will still be in your system by 1 p.m. to 3 p.m. Several factors can actually influence this duration, including obviously age, liver function, pregnancy, and other medications that you might be taking. But overall, let's just call it that 5-hour sort of window. So I'll give you a clear example of caffeine consumption at, like I said, 10 a.m. So let's just say you have a cup of coffee at 10 a.m. that contains 200 milligrams of caffeine. Here's how the caffeine levels in your body would decrease over time. So number one, the first timeline. By 3 p.m., 5 hours later, if we consider the half-life to be 5 hours, you will still have about 100 milligrams of caffeine in your system. Number two, by 8 p.m., another 5 hours, half of the remaining caffeine would be gone, leaving you with roughly 50 milligrams. Timeline numero 3. By 1 a.m., another 5 hours, half of that 50 milligrams would be left, meaning you still have about 25 milligrams of caffeine left in your body. So even 15 hours after your morning coffee, and most people will have it a little bit earlier, but most people will still have a coffee around 10 o'clock, you still have a quarter of caffeine lingering in your system. This residual caffeine can affect your ability to fall asleep and the quality of your sleep. Probably most importantly, the quality of your sleep. I have a lot of people that say, hey, I can fall asleep with a cup of coffee just before bed, but it does affect your REM sleep and your deep sleep. If you do find yourself struggling with sleep, it might be worth considering your caffeine consumption. Try to limit caffeine intake to the but try to limit your caffeine intake in the afternoon and evening. Each person metabolizes caffeine differently, so you may need to adjust based on how sensitive you are and its effects. Understanding the impact of caffeine on sleep and its half-life can help you make more informed choices about when and how much caffeine to consume. So by managing your caffeine intake, you can improve your sleep quality and overall well-being. Something obviously as well to take into consideration will be depending on your anxiety levels. I know caffeine, for me, sometimes I have to stack it with L-theanine because my anxiety tends